Hello, welcome to the channel. My name is Steve from Dunbar Photographic. And yes, I'm still wearing the same blue sweatshirt because I'm cranking out videos one after another after another. I've had them on deck for about a couple weeks, and I figured I'd take this very rainy day, it is pouring down rain here in the state of Vermont, to do some catching up and do some photo clerical video, whatever. So this one is in regards to using EF lenses, EF, on RF bodies, Canon RF bodies. Now, this is in specific relation to the R7, which is an APS-C 1.6 crop sensor. And I'm going to deal with just one lens today, but I've got two lenses that I'm going to cover. And it begs the question, should you invest in RF glass? I'm going to have my thoughts at the end and what I'm actually planning on doing. So what we're going to introduce now is the Tamron (70-200) f2.8 G2 lens. This is an EF mount, and she is a tank. This thing is a tank. I think it weighs more than the 100 to 400 EF Mark II. This thing is a heavy piece of glass. It is an amazing lens, sharp as a tack, super fast autofocus, as you're going to see, because what I did was I captured the viewfinder using a cell phone, and no, it was directly connected via HDMI, which I'm going to do a little review on that at some point as well, how I do that. The problem I had was it disables, that particular system disables the viewfinder in the back screen on the camera, so I had to shoot looking at the cell phone, which is basically capturing the viewfinder display. So it was a little challenging. My movements were a little slow because I'm much more used to having my eye in the viewfinder of the camera. So anyways, I love this lens. It is a fantastic lens on the DSLRs. I used it on the 90D. Look up the reviews on this lens. It is unbelievable. And you can pick these up used. I bought this for $700. $700. Now that is half the cost, less than half the cost of a brand new RF 200 to 800 f4. This is a 2.8. And this thing's flipping sharp. And the VR, vibration reduction, or image stabilization in this lens is close to second to none. It's phenomenal. For the money, it's hard to beat. Guess what? Arca Swiss foot. Yeah. Arca Swiss. You got to love it. Even Tamron figures it out. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through, this is going to be pretty quick, and I'll share my thoughts at the end. Coming right after, in a moment, I'm going to queue up the capture of some of the images. Not capture, but some of them were captures. But we're going to look at the autofocus tracking and eye detect using this lens. I'm going to have some thoughts about that afterwards. We're also going to share some finished images just to take a look at them, see what they look like. All right, so without further ado, let's get going. All right, so the flashing on the screen is the actual captures taking place. And I use a custom back button autofocus to turn tracking on and off on this camera. It's quick. It is quick. Boom. Come on, look my way. Boom. There we go. It's got it right there. Just hasn't. They're fully locked. Look at that. That is fast. That's a capture right there in camera. It's another one. Chickadees are a little tougher. Black eye, black head. Now it was pretty dark. Notice the speed of this. ISO 250, f2.8, 800th of a second. It was dark. It wasn't quite raining, but it was close to it. See, that eye is so tiny on him, it won't grab it. But it did. Now keep in mind, this is the effective focal length of 320 millimeters on the R7. And I was about 10 to 12 feet away from these guys. The autofocus on the R7 is sick. It really is sick. If you get it set up right. Now, when it turns blue is when I actually hit the shutter button. So I hit the tracking button, the AF on, that starts tracking, and then I hit the shutter button. Yeah, so there you go with that. As you can see, I want to share my thoughts right now, but I'm not going to. I'm going to wait. Some things I noticed and observed. Remember, and all I'll say right now is remember when I say every stop counts. Every stop counts, especially with small songbirds in low light. Keep that in mind. Okay. Let's get over to the other screen quick. Okay, these were run through Topaz. This was from those captures. That lens is insane. Wow. Grab another cardinal shot. That thing's crazy. Absolutely crazy. It's a chickadee. Like a razor knife, man. $700 G2. Crazy, right? Oh, I think that's a duplicate. That is a duplicate. How did I get that in there? This one I had a duplicate in and I got it out. Goldfinch. And, you know, so there you go. So just to share a few thoughts, right? EF mounts. Whether they're third party or Canon, you can get an EF to RF adapter that will adapt them to your R series. I don't know if it does it with all of them. I know it does. I can only speak for the R7 and R6 Mark II because those are the only ones I have. I believe they will adapt on the RP and the R. I don't know. Don't hold me to that. So if you have some premium glass, right, left over, and you pick up an R series camera, there is absolutely nothing wrong with adapting that to the R mount on the R series camera. Nothing wrong with that. I can tell you the 100 to 400 Mark II EF I'm going to be sharing some stuff on that. That thing is terrifying. You don't need RF glass. Here's the issue, right? I'm 60 years old, and even this lens, I'm tired of holding lenses like this. Spend an entire day with this hanging on your neck, and you're going to have a stiff neck. You're going to have a sore neck. I don't know what this thing weighs, 4.5, 5 pounds. I'm not joking. It's a heavy lens. It's a tank. So I'm slowly making my move into RF glass. As you've seen, I just picked up the 24 to 105. I have the 150 to 500 and the 200 to 800. Incredibly light lenses for what they are. And the focal ranges, focal lengths they cover, especially the big dogs. So, is it worth spending, let's say, $1,300 on an RF 70 to 200 f4, not the 2.8. 2.8 is $1,000 at least more, like $1,200 more. You're looking at like $2,500 to $2,800 for that lens. No way. No way. However, as you saw, the response and the performance, the color saturation, of this lens on the R7, on an R series body, you really have to ask yourself, is it worth, how much better is the RF glass? What are you getting when you go to the RF lens? I can't, the autofocus is so fast on this Tamron, it's no different than any of my RF, no different than my, it actually beats the 100 to 500 and the 200 to 800. I know. You know why? And this is something I realized. The problems I have with the eye tracking, eye detect, and subject tracking is because those lenses are slow. I know it for a fact now because I slapped this thing on there at f2.8 and it is lightning quick. Lightning. Remember when I said every stop counts? So you have to ask yourself the question, do you want to compromise? And I hate saying this because the R lenses are L series lenses. But I can tell you, at least the camera bodies I own, especially the R7, it is not a low light camera, right? Talked about this. When I pair the 200 to 800, which is an f9 at 800 millimeters, on the R6 Mark II, this thing eats it for lunch as far as autofocus acquisition, tracking, and eye detect on the R7, which is a worse camera in low light because this is an f2.8. I figured it out. So it begs the question, do you go for the RF lenses? If you go for the RF lenses and you want the f2.8s, the fast ones, you're going to pay, you're going to sell your left nut and put your firstborn out on the doorstep. I'm serious. You can get these EF, some awesome EF pieces of glass that will crank on these R-mount cameras for pennies on the dollar compared to the RF lenses. What's the trade-off? These things, you could anchor, I can anchor my inflatable boat with this in the lake. Tie a piece of rope to it, throw it over the side, and actually the boat will hold in the wind. That's how heavy this freaking thing is. So that's the dilemma. That's where I'm at right now. I'm not looking at an RF 7200 2.8. I can get by with an f4. I know I can. It's only one stop. So let's say if I'm shooting at, I rarely shoot I won't pretty much keep anything over ISO 2000, 3200 maybe. Definitely won't keep anything to 6400 unless it's unless I fill the frame with the subject. Then I can hit it with topaz, go into darktable, and do some mild editing, and I can get a very decent image out of it. If I have to crop it on the APS-C R7, that's starting to get pretty ugly, right? So, $7,200 RF f4. Just about ready to pull the trigger on that. If I don't like it, I'll send it back. It's the way it goes. It better be as quick as that thing, or darn close to as quick. Otherwise, it's going back. And it better be as accurate. Now, the other RF glass is superb. The best lens I have in the RF arsenal out of those three lenses, the 24 to 105, 1 to 500, and 2 to 800, is the 1 to 500. The 1 to 500 is an amazing lens, as slow as it is at a 7.1 at 500. Incredible. It is an L lens. So, I don't know. You tell me in the comments what I should do. I'm rambling, I know. What you think I should do. I'm tired of carrying this heavy stuff around. The RF 70 to 200 f4 is the Chunky Monkey 72, I'm going to call it. I've seen pictures of it, and it's like a 1/4 inch bigger than the 24 to 105. And that freaking thing, you almost can't even see the lens sticking out with it in my hand. That's how tiny it is. Feather light in the f4 70 to 200 is the same way. It's like feather light. It's like I think it's a whole pound lighter than the 2.8. So, also, astrophotography. That lens is so light that you can actually put it on your camera body and you don't need a counterweight on a lot of these trackers. Second thing, the image stabilization is touted to being superb. I question whether it's as good as this. I'm serious, because this thing is insane. Awesome. For $700 compared to $1,300. So the only real difference, two differences, this is a 2.8, the RF 70 to 200 is an f4, and the weight. Now, if I was going to do street photography, and I'm going to shoot like kind of distance shots and use some telecompression with a 200 millimeter, I would hate to bring this, because this is just too big and it's too heavy. That thing is like a featherweight champion of the world, the RF. Basically, if I dump this, I have to come up with about $600 out of my pocket plus tax. So that's the enticing part of it. Also, this takes up, basically, you can't put this in a bag upright. Let's see, you got a pancake bag, backpack. It has to be laying down, which it takes up literally a camera body and 2 lenses. There you go. You fill your bag up with lenses like these, let's say 3 killer lenses. I mean, not including your 2 camera bodies, all the peripherals. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if that stupid bag weighs close to 30 pounds. You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is. So there's the dilemma, folks. You let me know in the comments. Feel free to like this video and subscribe. Kind of push it out there, push it around, get some exposure. I'd appreciate it. And I'm just about sharing information here and asking questions sometimes. So there you go. Hit me. Hit me with your thoughts. What have you done? I'm telling you right now, I'm keeping my 100-400 Mark II. One, it's a full stop and a third faster than the 200 to 800. It is about 2/3 of a stop faster than my 100 to 400. And I can tell you that thing is awesome on the R7 and the R6. I've got pictures of my dog, which I'll share with you, running from the top of the hill at the back of the house towards me at a full steam ahead, blazing fast trot. He was running towards me. I had the 100 to 400 Mark II adapted to the R7, and in 15 frame bursts. I don't know how many frames I took, maybe 30. I had it set at 15 frames per second. Not one of them was out of focus. Tack sharp. Tracked incredible. I swear to God, some of these EF lenses work better than the RF glass because they're quicker. They're quicker. And what options do you have? Spend $15,000 on a piece of glass that you can't carry around? There you go. Anyways, catch y'all later. Happy shooting, folks. Thanks for watching.